Hi, good morning. It's Councillor Glen. It is Saturday morning, September the 4th, I believe. Beautiful sunny day. I found a little bit of shade here across the street from Paul-Desmarais High School. Bonjour tout le monde. I want to talk about why I'm here in just a few moments. I've got a lot of updates this morning. First of all, something a little fun. If you remember last week, I did my update from the Amberwood Golf Course, and they were doing a putting contest to raise money for the Stittsville Food Bank. Well, I paid my $5 to get my 3 putts, and I managed to sink one, so I won a round of golf. Now, I'm not a golfer though, so what I thought I'd do is give away that free round of golf to someone who's watching the video today or listening on Spotify or iTunes. So if you are watching or listening to this video today and you'd like to win a round of golf, I'm going to give it away. Send me an email at glen.gower@ottawa.ca, and on Tuesday evening I'll just draw at random from everyone who sent in their names, and I'll give that away and encourage everyone to support local organizations like the food bank. They do a lot of important work in our community. All right, I've got a lot of updates today, probably too many for our 10 to 12 minute update, but I'll get started. First of all, on COVID, as I'm sure you saw, the provincial government announced this week details about proof of vaccination required as of September 22nd. That's probably the biggest update, but also important is Ottawa Public Health has released a vaccination policy toolkit. So if you're a workplace or any kind of organization that's looking for advice on how you can set your own policy around whether or not vaccinations are required for your employees or customers, go to ottawapublichealth.ca. I've also shared some information on my website, glengower.ca. The City of Ottawa announced this week that we will have a mandatory vaccination requirement. So if you work for the City of Ottawa, you'll have to be double vaccinated this fall. Also, we've had a few questions about third vaccines or booster shots. The province and the federal government are recommending and allowing for third vaccines for certain people who have specific vulnerabilities due to health issues. So there's information about that on ottawapublichealth.ca. I've had a few questions from people who have mixed vaccines. They might have gotten AstraZeneca as the first and Pfizer or Moderna as the second, and that's causing some issues around travel, whether travel for leisure or travel for work. We are waiting, I say we, Ottawa Public Health, City of Ottawa, we are waiting for direction on that from the federal government and the province. Right now, that's not permitted to give a third dose for those reasons. If you're someone who falls into that category and you're concerned about that, I would encourage you to write to your MP, Pierre Poilievre, MPP Goldie Gamari. It's the federal and provincial level who set the policy for that. The other thing this week is we had a big Board of Health strategy meeting on Thursday. I'm a member of the Board of Health, and we're trying to look at recovery and transition out of COVID-19 and how to get back to delivering the usual services that Ottawa Public Health delivers. All of our resources have been focused so much on COVID-19. It's not to say we've left other important activities behind, but we need to start to look at how do we transition back and a little bit of transformation of the organization based on some of the things that they've learned through the COVID-19 pandemic. So a really interesting meeting there and lots to come on that front. Some local updates. On Tuesday evening, I really like this. The Stittsville Village Association and the Stittsville Business Association are hosting a federal election debate outside at Village Square Park starting at 7 p.m. Now, they're limiting numbers to 100 people, but what a great way to do a debate, a Q&A with all of our local candidates and do it in a safe way outside. You can find more information online about that. More updates. Yesterday morning, I did a walkabout on the Tartan lands. There's some tree cutting happening there, and I went out with our city forester to have a look at where the markings have happened. They've sort of marked off the area of the trees that are going to be preserved. There is a 11-meter buffer on the west side of the site, a 5-meter buffer on the north side, and a park that we're also maintaining, keeping the trees on. So I was out with the forester to have a look at the boundaries they marked off and also talk about the work and the supervision involved there. One of the things we recognize is there's a lot of trees in poor health across the whole site, and I suggested in some of the parts along that buffer, we're going to have to really focus some tree planting there as well to keep a nice thick buffer of vegetation behind the homes on Liard and Caribou, John Sidney, Samuel Mann, and so on. But thanks, residents, for your questions on that. If you are concerned about anything you're seeing, please contact me. Be happy to track down the information for you. If you live in Abbottsville Crossing, which is just over there, we've had some questions about when is all the pavement work happening. So Mattamy is doing some paving on Abbott Street the last week of September, and Richcraft is finishing up some work on Triangle next week. So if you live in that area, there's going to be some paving over the next few weeks. And then if you live in Fairwinds Phase 6, I think that's the east part of Fairwinds, Mattamy is doing some paving the last week of September there as well. Over on Iber Road, that's just over there, we have a new site plan application for a new one-story warehouse on Iber, 155 Iber, behind the existing building that's there. They use that area now as kind of a storage yard, so they want to build a one-story warehouse. You can find information on my website. There is a police budget survey right now that I'm encouraging residents to fill out. Help share your priorities and your thoughts about police budgeting with the Ottawa Police Service. I've shared a link on my website, but you can also find it on the OPS, the Ottawa Police Service website. And I also shared this week some tips on avoiding high-value, high-end vehicle thefts. We've had a lot of thefts in Canada, Stittsville, Barrhaven, all the suburbs of Ottawa of high-end vehicles. It's something that is ongoing, and there are some steps you can take to try to protect your vehicle. So check out my website for that. Also this week, super happy to be able to join members of the Stittsville Main Street Steering Committee. On Tuesday night, we did a walk along the street. We started at Mavericks Donuts. We headed south towards the Ultramar and then back again, just having a look at the condition of the street, talking about some of the ideas on revitalization going forward. Stay tuned. In about a week and a half, 2 weeks, we're going to be launching our public realm engagement session. Really looking forward to this. This is going to set out things like requirements for street lights, for benches, for reconfiguration of the street, where are we going to put bike lanes, and make sure we have safe space for cyclists and pedestrians. So more information about that in the coming weeks. We got an update from Bell. They are doing additional fiber installation in the south part of Stittsville. So if you live on streets like Liard, Caribou, Cherry, Samuel Mann, that kind of area in the south part, Brigade, in the south part of Stittsville, east of Stittsville Main Street, north of Fernbank, you are next for some Bell fiber installation. We've had a lot of issues in other parts of the community, so I know residents will have questions and concern. You should get a letter from Telecon in your mailbox, and there's information on who you can contact if you have questions. If you're having any trouble reaching Telecon or Bell, please contact my office and we'd be happy to assist you there. I set up a new webpage on my website this week, glengower.ca/blasting. What we want to do is give more information and more updated information whenever we find out about blasting operations in our community. Right now there's two that we know of. There's one in the quarry north of the Queensway along Richardson Side Road. And the other one is the trunk sewer work that's ongoing near Fernbank and Shea. So what we've included there is the start date, the anticipated end date, a description of the work, and also the contact information for the third-party blasting engineer who's responsible for investigating any concerns about damage. So that's glengower.ca/blasting. Coming up this week, Tuesday, at Fedco, we are debating and reviewing a host municipality agreement for the Carp Road landfill. This is going to determine how much compensation the communities of Stittsville, Canada, West Carleton, Rideau Goulburn, how much compensation they get because of the proximity of the landfill to our communities. Also significantly in that, although the province approved that landfill could accept garbage from everywhere in Ontario, the city has negotiated with Waste Management to reduce the collection footprint so that we're not including Southern Ontario and Toronto in that. So that's pretty important. I have shared a lot of background information on my website if you're interested in learning more. And again, thank you to the residents. I've spoken to a number of you on the phone this week and really appreciate the opportunity to have that conversation and hear about your concerns. Tuesday, OC Transpo Fall Service begins. No, I'm wrong. Tomorrow, Sunday, September 5th, OC Transpo Fall Service begins. There are some changes in Stittsville, particularly if you're a resident living in the Fernbank, Blackstone area. The buses there are now using Cope, so there's a bit of a difference to the routing. It's going to bring the buses closer to homes, which is a good thing, but please check your schedules and your routes so you know if your bus stop might have changed or the timing may have changed. Check that out. This Thursday, Brigantine and Khasmin, there's a development by Mattamy. They're decommissioning the stormwater pond that's there, and they're going to be building some townhomes. That proposal is coming to Planning Committee on Thursday. There have been some changes based on resident feedback, including there was some concern about the zoning they were seeking, which could have put a higher height limit in the zoning, even though they wanted to build lower. So they have agreed to pull that back and just zone for the height that they need. That gives a bit more certainty to residents. And there's a few other changes as well. Again, I've shared some information on my website about that. I'm here today across from the school because it is back to school. Les écoles francophones ont commencé la semaine passée. French schools started on Tuesday, and English schools go back next Tuesday. That means we have more school buses in the neighborhood. That means we have people cycling to school, walking to school, which is great. I just want to remind everyone who's driving in our community to be extra careful, take extra care with all of the school kids going back. Also on parking, please make sure you're respecting the parking signage. We have a lot of no stopping and no parking in school zones and on streets near schools. Really important from a safety perspective that you respect that signage. We will have our bylaw staff going out over the next few weeks doing some reminders and education about the parking rules and handing out tickets if need be. But please, if you can help cooperate and help kids in our community stay safe. Good luck to all the kids. Congrats to félicitations aux élèves francophones qui ont fait la relance cette semaine. Good luck to kids who are heading back to school next week. And parents, I'm sure you're pretty relieved to have kids going back to school. That's it for me this week. I hope you have a great long weekend. Hope you get out and explore the neighborhood. I'm along the Trans-Canada Trail here in front of the school. It's already a very busy morning. Looks like a great sunny day. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Take care.